comes two.
We are live with the greatest music ever, I think. What you think?
Huh. I don't know if it's the greatest music ever. Let's just say I don't... Why am I... I'm having a...
Hey everybody, welcome to Games and Stuff. Crow keeps freezing. You must be updating a
Hang on,
video
no.
or something
I'm
like that.
freezing. Yeah, I'm doing something, but like
You're
I have a weird
processing
space...
something on your computer or something like that.
No, not quite. You know, I just realized it's like something's hitting my space bar because whenever I highlight something, I'm getting spaces, and I don't know why.
Welcome everybody. Why?
I'll figure it out.
It's always a good week when Crow always has a bit of an issue going on with his setup because that means he's been tinkering and we'll have lots of good stories. Anyway, I'm Pete. Crow is from the Crow Continuum. We're going to do a proper introduction. We are talking about games and stuff. It's just a weekly fun podcast where we have no rules. We can talk about anything, and usually we just hang out and chat with the chat, whoever's there. Like Brian F. Hey Brian, how you doing? We have some topics this week. We're going to talk about the news coming out of CES. CES is in Vegas, Crow?
Yes, it is in Vegas.
There's multiple.
Yeah, I want to say there used to be one in Chicago. You know, I think if it's either only in Vegas or there's one in the summer that's in Chicago, but I'm thinking it's only once a year now.
I don't remember. Right? Like, it feels like it's Los Angeles too. I don't know. I could be wrong, right? But
I'm gonna look up summer CES. I figured out what it was, by the way. Wait a minute. Why? I searched for summer CES and it says January 9th to January 12th. It's like, no, that's not it.
Yeah. So I have no idea. But the point is, we're going to talk a little bit about that. But so, Crow, let me know how your week been going. We talked a little bit yesterday. Well, we try to talk when Evercast happens, but you know, Ed keeps us on a strict timeline of no talking other than Evercade. So
no, it's okay to talk about stuff that's not Evercade as long as they're talking about it.
Yeah, so whenever we bring it up, we have to be quiet. So
we have to relate it to the Evercade.
Yeah. So how's your week been going? What have you been up to? Have you caught up in your, speaking of Evercade, have you caught up in your effort to play your Evercade games?
Well, I've been playing. I'm not going to be caught up for a while, but you know what? I finished Pico Interactive Collection 3, and I will be done with the video for that today because I've radically changed the way It's funny because I wasn't going to do a script anymore, and then I think I mentioned this during the Evercast, is that I was watching a video by Thorgy's Arcade, and I kept watching videos by him. And he kind of like watching his videos it's like, you know, these are the kind of videos I like. And I was like, you know what, I better go back to scripting videos, especially since the Crow Plays videos that I've been doing.
Yeah.
I did them because they don't take that much time to do, but they are taking time and they're not really getting a whole lot of views.
So why did you stop with the scripting? Was it just a time commitment for you?
I thought it was taking way too much time, but in reality, I was just overdoing these videos. I mean, because these my Evercade videos were like over an hour long each, just about. And so I did the scripting this time, and I made sure I didn't write as much about every single game. And as a result, the video is going to be faster to make as well. Because I find the thing with the Crow Plays thing, it's faster to film it all, but then I'm spending more time editing it. Whereas if I script it, I'm gonna I'll be taking maybe just as much time editing it, but it'll be better in the long run because there's less footage to scrub through. Plus, I have time. It's like, oh, this would be a good spot to get this kind of graphic and throw it in, that kind of thing. So, whereas I used to talk about each game for about 5 minutes, it's down to about a minute to no longer than 2 minutes on every game, and so. This video is not going to be longer than 20. It's going to be between 15 and 20 minutes. I don't know.
It's all about having fun, right? Like if you're doing like YouTube, open every box, it turned into a chore for me. Like it felt like I was doing I don't know if you remember some of my old videos on OEB Pete and the video editing. I used to have cuts. I used to have all kinds of weird stuff going on.
Well, see, I like doing that too. I was like
but
I'm having
more work for me. I with work.
But like
and it wasn't
Yeah,
fun for me anymore.
if it takes a lot of time, but I'm really happy with what I've created to the point to where I'm watching it several times just to
Yeah.
watch it, then that's worth it. And like the beginning of this video that I created so far, yeah, because I've got the intro done. I was sitting there, I was like, okay, let me play the intro again just to see that again. Let me play the intro again
Are
just to
you
see that
data
again.
mining right now? Because you keep freezing, but I just checked
Am
the
I
speed of my
freezing? Yeah,
internet.
but
I'm good.
I'm pantomiming. Yeah, I'm doing this.
Um,
Um,
because like what I did when I got rid of my OEB cheap P channel and started over with EverCanadian, I just said, you know what, where do I have my most fun when I was doing YouTube? And it was just doing live streams, but also just playing games as me. And I'm like, you know, I started getting feedback with that. It's like people said, "Hey Pete, we love watching you play. We love making fun of you when you play because you're a good dude and you don't take it too seriously." And that's all my videos. It's just pretty much one big, "Hey, do I like this game? Is it playable?" And YouTube has been very fun for me the last couple of years, which I really like.
okay, I'm gonna try something. I might stutter, but I probably won't get disconnected.
Brian just finished off Good Boy Galaxy and Witch and Witch. So I am going, that's on my list of things. So I've got a list of games I want to finish this year. So no wonder you were playing Coloring Pixels. That's why. I just got your Steam list.
Well, I actually haven't started playing it.
Oh.
I'm on the screen where it says play.
So what I'm saying is, like, I got a list of games I want to finish. Like Brian just said, he finished Good Boy Galaxy. No spoilers, Brian. But like, I want to do Mortal Kombat 9 through 11 because I've already finished one, and then it's the dual carts. I want to finish the dual carts in Evercade, and Street Fighter 6, which I want to finish. Those are the big first half of the year games I want to finish.
Don't put Legend of Wukong on your list because one of the
I'm never playing that again. I don't know what you're insane for doing.
I played it for almost 20 hours just so I could have the authoritative authority to say, yeah, the game sucks.
You're a madman. That's all I'm going to say about this.
Oh, I was so curious to see what would happen at the end of the story. And because I was like, okay, this is so linear. You wouldn't have even noticed the really bad stuff with the game unless you had played for like 15 hours. Because like you would not have known that there's a level cap. Like everybody stopped leveling up at level 50. And at that point, there's no point in fighting anything because all you're gonna do is lose health, and since you're not gonna level up, nobody's gonna automatically get their health back. It gets it's and then the end of the story is completely terrible. You want me to spoil it?
No. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
You know how the game begins when your character goes into the time machine and accidentally goes to the past, and then his time machine immediately gets stolen. Well, during the game, you find the time machine and then it gets stolen again.
Right.
And then when you do get to the time machine again and you promise to go to the future with your companions that you picked up, you go too far into the future. You're like way too far in the future, and then it's like game over.
That is weird. Like
were they expecting some sort of sequel?
I'm putting up a poll. I'm putting up the same poll I put up on my community tab.
Okay.
Okay. But anyway. So what else have you been playing?
Well, like again, I played every other game in that. I played through Punch King. I managed to beat that. And what'd you think of Punch King? Yes. Okay, I get it. That's a valid response to that.
Yeah.
It's not a good game, but I figured it out. It's still not a good game. Figured it out to the point where I could beat the game. But no, it's a terrible game.
Happy Sunday night, buddy.
Yeah.
See, like a video, I like your somewhat in-depth videos, but 5 minutes per game can be a lot. Hopefully you find it.
Yes,
I'm
just saying that, Gene Joe, guess what? Next video, which I'm almost done with, it's going to be a minute or two per game. So these videos are not going to be an hour long anymore.
Nice. But you know what? It's good for the algorithm. I don't know.
It is if people watch them, but
Yeah.
I think by having the shorter videos, more people will be willing to click on a video. I mean, it's
Yeah.
still going to be around 15, 20 minutes long.
My sweet spot
Um,
is 18 to 25 minutes for most. Like, if it's too short, I tend to leave it alone. Like, if it's under 5-6 minutes, I'm like, you know what? It's probably just a, there's probably not a lot of depth there, but that's just me.
But for me, it's like I have a tendency to, like, if I really want to watch a video, I'm going to watch it. It's just when I watch it. So like
Right.
I will watch 5-minute videos, but I also watch like last weekend I was watching 3-hour long videos on King of Fighters.
Okay, so
In
why
fact,
the interest in King of Fighters?
oh, just the whole, like, it was like a retrospective. So it started at the very beginning, actually before the very beginning, how the King of Fighters series got started, and then it
Yeah.
went through each game one at a time, going through the pros, the cons, what people thought of them at the time,
King
and
of
then
Fighters is just like a kind of Street Fighter ripoff, or Street Fighter or King of Fighters ripoff? I don't really know.
well, here's the
Which
thing.
they
Did you
put.
know that okay, King of
I shouldn't say
Fighters is like,
ripoff, but
it's not a rip, it's not necessarily rip off, but it is a it's like Neo Geo, like, let's throw all our fighters, like it's like a Neo Geo Smash Brothers type of thing. But really, it started off as like Fatal Fury versus Art of Fighting. So throwing
right.
those characters in there, and I can't remember which one it was. I think it was Fatal Fury. The developers of that game, they started on, or at least one of the main key players started on the original Street Fighter from Capcom. So after Street Fighter, they move on to the SNK, and they started making Fatal Fury. To them, that's what the sequel to Street Fighter would have been.
Oh, okay.
So once they started doing King of Fighters 94, then the next year they push forward, did 95. But the thing is, though, there's all these sagas in between the games. There's a storyline. That was the main difference when they started doing Fatal Fury and stuff like that, is they wanted a story. There's like these in-depth stories between these games. And the King of Fighters
But
series,
is it presented in the game?
yes, it is.
I've never
However,
played Fatal Fury, so
However, with King of Fighters, one of the major setbacks is the story is not in the game. It's in like manga and stuff.
oh,
But there is a story associated to it. And they're going, oh, and if you do it with these characters, you get this kind of ending to the story. If you do it with these characters, but then there's this overarching story too, where there are new characters that they put into King of Fighters that weren't in Neo Geo games beforehand that add to that story. SNK was always the underdog fighters. Then Capcom worked with SNK. It's kind of a weird thing though too, because some, like the original Street Fighter, some of the people that worked on the original Street Fighter worked on those original King of SNK fighting games as well. So it's almost like an alternate reality of what Street Fighter could have been.
and there was like 3 1-hour documentaries on it?
No, there's like 4 2 to 3 hour documentaries on the whole series as a whole, because there's whole story arcs that start and end. Like King of Fighters 94, 95, 96, and 97 all tell one giant story. And then 98 is like a dream match, which is basically it doesn't really have a story, but it's like mixing like all the characters from the past into that. And then like 99, 2000, 2001, 2002 are another story. And then it goes into like how the spin-offs, he goes into the spin-offs and why they stopped numbering the game, why they stopped numbering by years and started numbering like 11, 12, 13, and so on. And some of the confusions that led to that, because they had a sequel that after they went to the numbering like 11, then they had a sequel that had a year. So it was
oh my gosh,
confusion. Yeah. So
yeah, it's kind of weird because like when 2000 came out, all the sports games in that were using 2001, 2002,
2K, which was like I can't remember which one did that. It wasn't Sega, was it? Yeah, I think it was Sega.
And then when the 20s rolled around, or the 19s, like that, like they got rid of. Remember, it no longer was 2011 anymore as a game. It was 11. and then they renumbered them again. So it's kind of freaking all weird.
Well, nothing's getting as complicated as what Mortal Kombat's doing.
Well, they rebranded after 11. They went back to 1.
Yeah, but I can kind of understand them calling it Mortal Kombat 1 a little bit because they reset the whole universe in a way.
The whole universe, yeah. Liu Kang just... so I don't know what led up to that. I'm playing 9 through 11 right now.
But you know what the next... This is what really bothers me. Is you know what the next Mortal Kombat's going to be called?
What?
Mortal Kombat 2.
Is it really?
Yeah. How can you call it Mortal Kombat 2? You already had a Mortal Kombat 2.
I know, it's weird. Well, they already have technically a Mortal Kombat 1. Well, maybe they'll go Mortal Kombat TWO.
But technically, the first Mortal Kombat wasn't called Mortal Kombat 1.
I know,
it was just
so they
called
put
Mortal
1.
Kombat.
And so 9 revamped the universe. And I'm playing 9 on my PlayStation 3 right now. So I'm playing 9, 10, 11 because I've already finished 1. And I need to make sense of how this all these new characters I've never seen before in the Mortal Kombat franchise.
You know what's funny is that 9 was actually just called Mortal Kombat, I think.
Yeah, just Mortal Kombat, but it's not technically 9.
And then the next one they called Mortal Kombat X.
And then they've got Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe, which is a completely... And
yeah,
this is where it gets weird. It's an alternate timeline, but actually the whole 9 through 1 is all different timelines. Weird. It's just complicated, but there's a really good YouTube video out there that I want to watch after I finish 9, 10, 11 that everybody says great. It's the complete chronology of the Mortal Kombat reset and redo universe.
Oh, that's something I should look up. That sounds interesting. The whole storyline.
Yeah.
I don't mind that they reset the universe. I don't even mind if they were to say Mortal Kombat and Mortal Kombat 2 or whatever. But the way you fix it is you give it a subtitle.
Yeah. Well, it's weird because that's this new trend now. Activision started that with Call of Duty Modern Warfare. We've already had one. Then they rebooted that, and I'm like, but we already had a Modern Warfare 1 and 2, and they just went and did it, and I'm like,
it's like they're pretending. It's like they're trying to pretend oh, nobody remembers this.
Nobody remembers 2 of the greatest Call of Duties ever was Modern Combat 1 and 2.
Yeah, nobody cares about that anymore. We're going to call this this is the definitive version. This overtakes the original. So when people say Call of Duty, this is the version they're going to be referring to.
I think 9 was a reboot too. Yeah, you're right. And I got to tell you,
it was. Yeah,
I love the 90s movie, but the new one that came out in 2021 is unbelievably a good movie. It's probably between a B.5 to an A movie.
But you know what the biggest problem people had with that movie was?
What?
Was the main character was somebody that wasn't in the video games at all.
Yeah, he's not in the video games. He's being introduced, and he's in the Scorpion family tree. But
yes.
But what's really really good is they just cast the new Mortal Kombat sequel to it. They're filming it right now, and guess who they cast as Johnny Cage?
Couldn't be Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Nope. Guess who they cast? One of my favorite actors. He was in Lord of the Rings Online. He was Éomer.
And I don't know. I've never played Lord of the Rings
Online.
No,
Lord of the Rings, the movie. He was Éomer.
Who's who?
He's in another TV show called The Boys. It's a superhero ripoff.
Oh, The Boys? Wait, who is he playing The Boys?
The main character, I think.
Carl Urban?
Yes, he's cast as Johnny Cage.
Wait a minute, Carl Urban was in Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, he's Éomer, the Rohan.
I had no idea.
Yeah, man. Carl Urban. Yeah, but anyway, he is Johnny Cage. How can that movie not be freaking awesome?
Tell you something about Carl Urban. He was in those Star Trek movies, and when the Star Trek pinball machine came out,
McCoy, he's Bones. He was fabulous as Bones.
And when the Star Trek pinball machine came out that I have, he was the only one that recorded all new dialogue for it.
Apparently, he's a pretty big geek.
He's constantly you constantly hear his voice while you're playing that.
Yeah, he's in a movie too, where he plays this old sci-fi movie. It's really bad. I forget what's called, The Tower or something like that. But he's in it anyway. But
he's also Judge Dredd, right?
Yeah, the new Judge Dredd. Yeah, he was the one that was in the remake by that Brazilian director, right? Where it all takes place in one building.
Yes, the good one.
I don't know, man. I there's something about Stallone when he was going up against Schwarzenegger in the 80s/90s with Judge Dredd, Demolition Man, all those. Like, there's something, you know.
Do you
with the
remember?
console.
Do you remember? Oh, what was that Arnold Schwarzenegger movie? Last Action Hero. Have
Yeah,
you ever seen that?
that
Where
was pretty
they're in the
bad.
video store, and in that universe, Stallone was the Terminator.
Yeah. Well, they were enemies for the Black Ops, and then they turned into like best friends, like in real life.
Well, I don't know if they were ever enemies, but
No,
you know,
but they were competing with each other to the point
yeah.
where that one throw mama from the train or something like that, or not throw mama from the train. Your grandmother, my grandmother's a murderer or something like that.
Oh, stop or my mom will shoot.
Stop, my mom will shoot. Well, the reason Stallone took it is because Arnold tricked him in by telling his agent that he wanted it, and then Stallone got it. Yeah, he tells that story on the Tonight Show. It's kind of funny. Yeah.
Or he's just telling that story to explain why he was in that movie. Like he might have thought that was a good idea.
Schwarzenegger confirmed it.
Oh, okay.
And then Stallone goes, yes, because he was told that Schwarzenegger wanted it. He was such a big competition, he made dumb choices. But yeah. So what do you think now? Have you watched the 2021 Mortal Kombat?
I watched it.
The movie.
Oh yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah. So what?
I got confused because I was like, have I watched a video game? Like, no, I've seen the movie.
Most video games that are made today has got most of it you watch.
Yes.
Did you like it?
No, yeah, I thought it was good. I just, like I said, my one complaint is the same complaint everybody else has, is that they spent way too much time on a character that didn't exist in the video games.
I think you're probably just setting him up to be in the video game, right?
Well, wouldn't he have already been in the video game by now? Mortal Kombat 1?
I don't remember him from 1.
No, like the one that just came out.
Yeah, I don't
game
remember
came
him
out
from
after.
1.
So, yeah, I know he's not in 1. So if they were setting him up to be in a video game, you would think he'd be in the next video game.
Yeah, he's probably in the Mortal Kombat 2, most likely, I would think.
I don't know. I mean,
what's the character's name? Anybody know the character's name?
See, that's the thing, is nobody remembers. His power was stupid too.
What was his power?
His power was armor.
One movie, main character. What was his main character? 21. Cole Young.
Oh yeah, Cole. I remember Cole. Yeah.
Yeah, he's so forgettable.
He's too unforgettable. Yeah, you couldn't even remember his name. It's like,
Louis Tan.
Nobody...
It's Cole Young. What does Cole Young do? What's his superpower?
His armor. He had like armor that just appeared on his body.
Well, he had those blades that were on his arm. What is? I'm reading now. Anybody tell me what this? I'm trying to figure out Cole Young's superpower. That's cool. Cole Young, MK power.
Yeah, you'll probably have
Cole
to go
Young have power.
Wiki.
The golden armor turns Cole's ability to take a beating into his greatest strength. So he's Rocky.
Yes, his power is he could take a. His power is he could get beat up.
Oh, wait a minute. By storing the kinetic energy absorbed from blows in a fight, the power of these blows builds up inside the armor until Cole unleashes it. For example, in his brutal uppercut. Oh, okay. So that's pretty cool, actually.
Well, is it cool? Because it means he has to get beat up before he could use any power.
According to developer Mortal Kombat, Cole Young will not be appearing in the upcoming fighting game. He's not cool enough. So I got a feeling they'll probably kill Cole off or he'll retire. And I think let Johnny Cage run this franchise. It's so stupid. He's like the main character, right?
Well, you know who the main character should be in a Mortal Kombat movie? Liu Kang.
Yeah. And not Raiden. I don't want to ever see. Who's the guy that did Raiden in the original movie?
Oh, Christopher Lambert.
Christopher Lambert. Man, he's horrible. He made one good movie, Highlander. That was it.
You know what's funny is people hate those Mortal Kombat movies, and I kind of liked both of them. I think part of that was because I actually saw Mortal Kombat Annihilation in the movie theater.
Yeah,
and it's a totally different experience when you see it in the theater with like a packed theater. Like
dude,
I saw it in a packed theater.
Bad movies are better in theater. I maintain that bad movies when they're on opening night. Like I saw the Phantom Menace, and I actually honestly like the Phantom Menace, but that crowd in the Phantom Menace went nuts at the end of that movie.
Oh yeah, like it was a bad movie, Annihilation, but like I can't help but watch it and see like this where there were people working on the movie that tried to make really cool things happen in it, and then there's really dumb stuff in it too. So
Polymega, yeah. So Polymega, yeah, they've been active on Twitter. They got a new update coming out next week that's going to fix people getting their system bricked. They also explained on Polymega, just for people who's curious, obviously my Coxarts, and I'm a big Polymega. I had it up before the show started. I was playing, and I'm going to be streaming it this week, hopefully. So yeah, they got a new update coming, and they gave an explanation why games went missing on there. The Pico, their license expired with Pico, so the Pico games are not coming back as pack-ins on the Polymega.
really,
yeah, because they're starting their store, so Pico probably wants some money. So
Pico's starting a store. Oh, on the Polymega, they're starting a store.
Yeah, they're doing an online store to sell
indie
games and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. That's weird though that they would just take away the free games then. Like,
yeah, I guess that's what I'm saying. They said that their license to have them as pack-in expired with Pico, so I'm sure they'll probably have them available for like $1 or something like that.
Oh, I get it. Okay. Well, are you still getting free games with the Polymega, or because I
there's like 12 free games on there.
Okay, but it seemed like there were a lot more Pico ones that were.
Yeah, there was like 15 or 20 Picos, and they're gone now.
Okay, so you're losing half of the free games.
Yeah, but like
over half.
The fact that they never promised you were getting any, like, so when I got my first order, I was surprised there was anything on there because they never ever talked about having free games built in. It was like,
so I wonder, like, if somebody, so is that like ship sailed? Are they already gone?
What?
The Pico games.
Yeah.
Because I'm wondering, like, what happens if you get your Pico? Or not your Pico. What happens if you get your Polymega, and you wait a while before you open it? Is it tied to the device itself, or is it when you first log on?
When you first boot it up, if it got the firmware that includes it or the OS update that includes
okay.
it. So anybody who didn't update right now keeps their
okay. I didn't know if when you logged in or
it's stupid because you got to update, because that's how you get your ROM updates, is your patches. Like the Ultra, whenever you boot it in, it updates it.
But it knows whether or not you had those games before. So
Europe's
it's not going to take a
Yeah, Europe's having issues, Mike says, because the play order was never placed. Yeah, I don't know, dude. It's but Polymega did say today that they're going to have tons of extra units in. So by February, they're going to be through all their pre-orders and they're going to have extra units available. So.
All right. You have a lot of.
I hear some background noise on your side. What are you playing?
Oh, I actually have my printer going. If it's too loud, I can.
No, that's fine.
No, I can slow it down, and then it won't make.
No, it's fine, Mike. Yeah, Polymega, man. It's like they're hot and cold with the communication. Like sometimes it feels like they'll go all blitz when they have something to talk about, and then they're silent forever. But I'm really enjoying my Polymega, and I've had mine for a couple of years now. So I got mine during the.
It's funny. It's like if it was like a couple of years ago, when the Polymega like was first announced and stuff, I would have gotten one, and because I would have had a lot of stuff. I think since then I've sold a lot of stuff, so there's really not much, especially
I got mine
for the
price. The original price of $250 too. Right now it's like $600.
Did you get it for $250 with all of the attachments, or did you pay the attachments separately?
I got all of it. I got
for $250.
$250 American. So by the time I got it, was $400 Canadian.
Ha!
Because I got the first one to pre-order. Like I was probably in the first batch of pre-orders.
When it was available pre-order, that's when we knew for sure it was going to be emulation, right?
Yeah.
I think that was one of the main reasons.
Blocks before that.
I remember, I keep wanting to call it Retro Blocks because that's when I was interested in it. When they changed the name, that was kind of around the time that I was starting not to be so interested in it.
Yeah. I like I said, Mike, yeah, for sure, dude. It's exactly what you're saying. All right, let's talk a little bit about we're going to talk about Atari going crazy with some stuff. So the first thing we're going to show is the Atari 400 mini trailer. Crow, you want to show yours first? Crow's got an actual.
This is literally the first computer I ever had.
Does it still work?
It still works. This is literally it. And
where's your games for?
Oh, I have cartridges. They're in the drawer. I still
and
have a
cassettes.
cassette. I still have a cassette tape, but I don't have any. Wait, I think I have one cassette for it, but I never tested it to see if it worked.
My
But I just yeah. But this is literally the devices I had. At
my
the time.
buddy had the cassette for the Commodore 64. It would take forever to load a game.
We had one too, but the thing was is that we never used it because I think shortly afterwards we had disk drives. So like we had disk drives for it. So there was no reason to use a cassette at all.
All right, let's look at the trailer. Bring back memories, Crow.
Well, I literally have it in my hand, so
Is it gonna be? It looks like it's gonna be smaller though, right?
yeah, it's gonna be like a mini. It's gonna be like the size of the C64 mini or the Amiga mini.
The Amigas probably.
Bruce Lee, Berserk, okay, Minor 2069er,
yeah.
24, not 69er, 49er.
25 retro games.
But it's irrelevant since you could just plug in the USB and like that and load your games up.
Yeah, you can get them all, right?
And it'll play 5200 games too, which not surprising.
So the Atari, what's the difference between the Atari 400 and the 800 computer?
Well, the 800 had a regular keyboard. It didn't have a membrane keyboard.
Right.
I think it also had two cartridge slots. One for, but the thing is though, like you couldn't just interchange the cartridges. The left cartridge slot was for specific types of cartridges, and the right cartridge slot was for specific types of cartridges. Like there were very, very, very few left cartridges. They were all right cartridges. That's why, like on the top of the cartridges, a lot of them they said right cartridge slot only or something. But yeah, so it was just a more expensive version. I think it was like it may have been the same type of hardware inside, but then you had other versions of the Atari come out. I mean, those were just the very first two models that came out, the 400 and the 800. They came out at exactly the same time, but then they started introducing new models. There was like the Atari 6. There was like the XL line. There was the XE line. I have an XEGS, which is like a game console version of the Atari computers. But I even have a keyboard that attaches to it, so you can just use it like a computer anyway. Atari XL. We had a 1200 XL, and that's like literally one of the computers I'm on the lookout for if I ever see one for a good price. A 1200 XL, because we had that computer.
So, like the Atari 800 XL, is it like so? If this can play the Atari 5200, there's really no difference between games between the 400 and the 800. The
No,
800 can play 5200 games too, right?
No, you literally could not play 5200 games because the cartridges were different sizes.
And, okay.
And they, it's kind of like one of those TurboGrafx things where they changed the pinouts, like where you would need an adapter. I don't know if that was just it though. I think there was a little bit more to it than that because they changed the wiring for the controllers and stuff. Because, by the way, do you know why the Atari 5200 had such a messed up controller?
Why?
Because the people working at Atari would get bonuses for every patent they used in products that they developed. So that's why there's so much crap in the 5200, because they're like all these patents that they were throwing into this thing, like the analog stick and everything, was getting executives bonuses.
Who's making this again?
I would bet Retro Games, the same people that made the C64 Mini.
Okay, good. That's why you got to pre-order it from England.
Well, I pre-ordered it off of Amazon, and I wonder if it's still on a wait list.
It's not available in Amazon Canada, so I pre-ordered it from Amazon UK.
I ordered it from the US version of Amazon, and
yeah, you guys get all the good pre-orders. We don't.
But on Atari's website, they have a listing for it on their store, and I thought it was going to be only available on their store, so I signed up for the wait list there. So I wonder why it's. Let's see here.
I ordered from Amazon UK, so because that's where I get that's where I got the C64, the Amiga Mini, I'm
Yeah, it's
super
still on the
excited
wait
about this
list.
because I never owned this. I do have a 5200. I do have a couple of these games. I have Millipede, Centipede. I do have those on my 5200. But like I don't have Miner 49er on my 5200, stuff like that. So I'm super excited for this. I love mini consoles. They're like my favorite thing. One of my favorite things to collect.
One of my favorite games to play on this thing is like one of those games that people think is one of the worst games ever. It's called Hazard, and I always thought it was a Dukes of Hazard game, but it was like a ripoff. It wasn't officially licensed, so that's why it was just called Hazard, and it
Right.
was spelled Hazard wasn't even spelled the same way. But you could totally tell that it was like a Dukes of Hazard game. You basically it was a top-down view, and you drove the General Lee
Right.
through like the woods and stuff like that. There were all these chickens, and you could hit the chickens, but you had to be careful because sometimes there were rocks that were disguised as chickens. But it was so weird. But the thing was, you couldn't use the brakes too much either, because if you used the brakes too much, your brakes would break, and you wouldn't be able to brake if you needed to. But the funny thing is there was at every map, there was like 4 maps, and every map there was always 2 bodies of water. One of them had a bridge, but you could always just jump over the water too. But the second one was like a river you had to jump over. You could, and you had to have enough speed to do that. So my favorite thing was like that final body of water. When you jumped over it and you were successful, your guy would get out of the car, he'd come to the edge, and then the cop car would come, and the cop car would never make it. He'd hit the side of the wall and crash into the water. That was one of my favorite games as a kid. And I looked at reviews, like more modern day reviews, and it's gotten horrible scores. And yeah, I can kind of see that, but I still like that game.
Nostalgia is a powerful thing. But yeah, so I'm pre-ordering that. I'm surprised March 28th is coming out really soon, man. It's like,
Yep.
is there too much? Is there too much Atari right now? So is this Atari license, or is RetroRare doing this? Like, because I don't know how that works. Because they put the Amiga out, they put the Commodore 64 out. Do the modern day Atari have the rights to this console?
Well, it's got to be licensed because it says Atari on it.
Right, I guess.
If you notice, like the Commodore 64 Mini, it doesn't say Commodore on it. It just says C64. It's the same thing with the Amiga.
Is there too much Atari right now?
A500.
I'm saying no. I'm saying no.
Well,
I'm like, I want them to go to speed. I think they're doing some really interesting things. Like, personally, I'm okay with it. Like, you don't have to buy everything they make. Like, the 2600 Plus is not something I'm too super interested in. But
I mean,
I guess some people may see it that way.
I think it's fine if they put out a lot of stuff as long as that stuff is good. Because if they start putting out all this stuff and a lot of it turns out to be crap, nobody's going to be paying attention to any of it.
Well, I'm really liking the Game Station Plus. We're going to touch on that in a bit, and then I like their little minis, so I'm okay. The next video we're going to watch, because this all happened at CES, so
yeah,
March 28th. Can't wait to get that mini. And then I'm using Gen X Grown Ups video here, so appreciation for him. I love his channel. He went hands-on with a really cool product that's coming out that I am super excited about. So this is the Atari, I guess it's the Super Pocket. Hey, Intelligent Gamer, how you doing?
They wouldn't have a Super Pocket. Oh, this thing. Yes, I saw a picture of this thing. I haven't actually.
So we went hands-on with it. He didn't turn it on. He was allowed to turn it on, but man, that looks so cool, right?
Well, that's not really. Technically, to me, that's not hands-on. Does this now? I gotta assume this takes regular, real cartridges, right? That's why it's so big. It doesn't.
It's got the spinner
because they have something that big.
The spinner doesn't go all the way around, though. You notice the spinner only goes like it's not.
Well, that's like a regular paddle. Regular paddle doesn't keep going; it stops.
Yeah, but like I know, and he said he'd rather have one that goes full 360. So I don't know.
Well, I'm fine with that. I mean, especially because, like, here's the question: if you're holding it like that, how easy is it going to be to spin that paddle? You usually need at least 2 fingers to spin it, right?
That trackball looks awesome, though.
Yeah, trackball I could see.
Dude, it looks sweet. Big screen, finally, for us old people. So they know the market.
Yeah, it's for Ed. Who's always complaining that all the screens are so small.
Your number pad, like. So there's no cartridge slot. There's like legs on it, though. That's pretty cool.
But yeah, it's funny. It's like they're using the molding for a previous thing they put out for the NES, and
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
that
Yeah.
had a cartridge slot.
And
So
they got
this
a
has got to be
numpad.
playing. This has got to play arcade games, right? Because you know what? It's got to play 5200 games too. Because why else would it have a keypad?
Yeah, it's got a numpad on there. This is like the weirdest system that
It's so
I
weird
can't
though
wait to pre-order it.
because of that black line there, you can't see the labeling on half the numbers.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a demo unit. It's not a retail unit. It's not available till later in the year, apparently. But are you gonna pre-order
I'd
it?
probably buy this just because it has a dial and a trackball. That'd be the only reason.
My cockers. My yeah. Yeah, I think you're bang on there, man.
But
Tells you
man,
gamer
if you could play a portable device with a dial, how often do you see a dial on a portable system?
or a
Never.
trackball.
This might or a
This might be the
trackball.
first.
But I care more. I care more. But you know what? I tell you what, my first Android
Dude, that
phone had
trackball
a
for Centipede?
you know what? My first Android device had a trackball on it, like a literal trackball.
Really?
Yeah. Look up the T-Mobile G1 that had a trackball on it.
It is novel, but like, when have you seen a mobile device, a handheld device, not mobile, that has a spinner, a D-pad, a trackball, 4 buttons, and 9 number keys? Like,
I want to see. I want to see more information on this. I want to see price. What is this thing going to cost? Is it going
I'd
to
say
be like
it's going to be at least $200.
200? I'd say 100. I don't think they could go.
Well, it depends
that
on the
high.
screen. It's a 7-inch screen, right?
Yeah, but screens are nothing these days.
Well, I don't know. It doesn't need anything more than 720p, right? So 480p would cut it, actually.
I think the most expensive bit would probably be the dial and the trackball.
Yeah.
Because those are things that are not that common. But yeah, with all these buttons, I want to know what it plays. It's got to have arcade games. It's got to have what is on here? How many things are going to be on here?
Yeah, that's the big thing for me too. So 150, Gene is saying, Gene joke. Yeah, I'm saying 150. Could be bang on. Depends on how many games. This only got 25 games on it. Like, it gotta have ability to upgrade it, right?
Yeah, this has got to have at least 100 games on it.
But then if you put ROMs on there, will the ROMs know enough to use the trackball if it's there?
That's the interesting thing. But you can think about the original Atari hardware. It knew, you didn't need to say anything special about using a paddle or a joystick. It just knew what you had plugged in. But then again, it's just reading the inputs a certain way.
Yeah. I really hope this got at least 100 games on there. To make use of spinner, D, and trackball? You know?
Yeah. Show this to Blaze. Tell them this is what their next handheld needs to look like.
Yeah, exactly. Done. Job's done. Actually, just give us an arcade stick that has all of this stuff on there, and the job's done, right?
I just don't think they're going to support it on the VS unless it's supported on the handheld as well.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I agree with you 100%. So, who's pre-ordering this?
I'm not. I need to see more before I pre-order.
They had me at handheld. I'm going to pre-order it. I'm getting this. I want to play. Oh, Golden Tee. Yeah, that would be awesome. I don't think this will run.
That's not Atari though. So
yeah. So that was that. This is my arcade. Obviously, we all know that. And the final video is kind of a new GameStation Pro controllers that are coming out. And I like the GameStation Pro sitting right beside me. I got it loaded up with thousands of ROMs.
You know what's funny is I could get one of those for free right now because I have enough points in my Blue Cross Blue Shield to be able to. They have it on there.
I love it.
Get one.
So same guy, Gen X Gamer. Thank you so much.
Gen X grown up.
Gen X grown up. Yeah, sorry. So this is the 2 controllers that's coming out now.
I don't know if I like
mine already has a spinner, but this one has an A, B, and C. So it's an updated updated joystick for it. That's the one thing. So the joystick's updated.
And I think you have an ABC on yours too. It's just that they got rid of the button at the top, right?
Yeah, they got rid of so there's no button on the top. So there's A and a B is on the top button, and the trigger, the little red button, was the C. So I don't know So I don't know. I kind of didn't like the B button up top. It kind of was annoying to me because I kept accidentally pressing it or do.
Yeah,
But
I can
anyway,
see that.
but I like the second controller, the more traditional control. Well, not traditional, more NES stuff. So he's going to take a look at this one here first. And the spinner on this is already awesome. So I'm pretty sure they're going to use the same spinner on the handheld.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of want to get this just because of the spinner. But then again, that's on the original too. See,
Yeah.
I might wait for this updated version before I pull the trigger on it, rather than getting the one that's out there right now.
I'm not going to buy an updated joystick. I'm going to buy the gamepad.
I don't know if I'm that interested in the gamepad.
That's what I am because I have the joystick. So
Yeah, yeah, obviously. I like, yeah, because I don't know about the. See, I don't know about holding the joystick and using the pedal. It seems kind of like it might be a bit awkward. I don't know.
no, I don't. I don't have a problem with it. I've been playing.
Well, on the joystick, yes, but on the D-pad version,
Yeah,
the other version that hasn't shown yet.
yeah. But I want the other version just to play traditional games and like. I don't know. It doesn't look too bad. But that looks cool. It looks small though. That's the one thing that I wish it
Really,
wasn't.
it looked kind of fat to me.
Yeah, I wish it wasn't so chunky. I wish it was like lengthened a little bit more.
Hey, I wonder, can you plug in like the Atari Classic controller, like the one that came with the VCS? Can you plug that into that game station and use that, or are they not incompatible?
The what? What one?
The the one, the Atari VCS, the new one. It
Oh,
came with like that. It came with like the joystick with the spinner built into the stick.
yeah. I don't know where mine's at.
But do you know if that works on the
That
game
controller
station?
sucks. I don't
What?
like that.
What? Really? I like it.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't checked. I just use that. I think this joystick is pretty fine. But yeah, this one seems like it's my arcade. This controller feels like they're getting rid of some molds they had.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like seriously, this was the best design you can come up with. Kind of looks like I did it.
Like I could 3D print that.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Well, obviously it's injected mold in, but
Yeah.
it's funny. As I've been learning how to do weird stuff. So like on when I was printing these stands here,
Yeah.
they I didn't like how they went way out, so I cut them so they'd fit. So I figured out how to
What's the
add
stand
negative
for?
space.
What's
What?
that stand for?
It's so you can take your Masters Universe figures and you slide their feet in them, and then they stand without falling over.
Did you make that yourself, or you stole an idea?
Well, I took a design, but I modified the design so it had like a thick part that went way in the back there,
Right.
but it doesn't really fit on my shelf that well. So I added negative. I figured out how to add negative space to a design to eliminate it.
You should sell those on Etsy.
Nah. Well, I'm printing out a whole bunch. I need at least 20 something of them. So I've laid out like a thing of 8. So I've been printing 8 at a time. So that's what my printer's going and printing right now.
So yeah, man, Atari going nuts, right? With stuff. It's just.
But it's like no different than, like, think about it. That brand almost had always existed to pump out products for a long time. Think about how many Atari flashbacks there are. There's like over 10 of them.
Yeah, and
It came out with like a new one every year
since the beginning. Even though it's a different Atari company per se right now, but the Atari's been doing that since '75.
Yeah, no matter who's owned the license, since like Atari died and they bought the license, they just pumped out product. They just
continued what Atari was already doing.
Yeah,
it's like it's insane, right?
It's just that now their products are starting to get a bit better.
Well, my arcade, they're hit and miss. I get it. But like I've been happy with all the Atari branded stuff I've got from my arcade in the last 2 years. Like I've gone in with low expectations, right? So it's hard to get disappointed, right?
Well, I'm not even talking about just my arcade. I'm just talking about Atari in general, because now they're actually releasing cartridges of games that were previously unreleased.
Yeah, didn't they release them with empty ROMs?
Empty ROMs?
Or empty carts that didn't have any ROMs on their first set. They went and sat
actually, Aqua. When I got my Aqua Venture, they sent the notice saying that it had been recalled, and the problem was that Not that it was empty. It's that they put the chips in, they put the circuit boards upside down in the
Oh,
cartridge.
that was
So
it. Yes.
yeah.
It's like, well, I guess everybody's guilty of that. Like, for example, like, Blaze decides to put the wrong ROMs on one Super Pocket, right?
Oh yes, that one. Was that like how often did that problem happen? Was it just that one person, or did it
I
happen?
don't know. I think it was more than one, maybe a couple. Ian says, not in a hurry to pre-order the Atari 400. It's already on pre-order here at Game Store Spain. Yeah, I ordered it on Amazon England, UK. Stay warm there, Pete. Yeah, tell me about it, dude. But you know what? It's warmed up today. Yesterday was last 2 days. The last 3 days was brutal. Like minus 25, minus 30. It's crazy.
You should be telling me to stay warm. It's at least 30 degrees colder here than Pete.
Yeah, exactly. Now it is, but yesterday it was pretty brutal. But yeah, Chicago's always cold because you got the wind, lake wind, right?
Yeah, because Fahrenheit, like Fahrenheit for everybody like who just tuned in, it's like -30 with the wind chill here. Fahrenheit.
But yeah, and it's like we get a different cold though. We get a really wet cold here, and a lot of people say like I was one place I lived was dry cold, and I felt like minus 30 in dry cold was not as cold as like -2 in the wet cold off the ocean. It's just something about wet cold.
It actually warmed up a bit. I'm looking right now. Oh no, that's not right.
People don't always check our weather because there's something on the internet called the Weather Network. I think it's like right now it's -4 Celsius.
Actually, right now, let's see if we can.
But you got to do the wind chill, right? That's the important thing, right?
Yeah, well, this is without the wind chill. I don't know if you can see that. It's -8.
Right now, it feels like... Oh, so there's no wind where I'm at right now, so it's -7 right now. But it's going to drop down to -10 tonight. What's the weather tomorrow? Well, it's going to get warm the next couple days, so it's going to go back to normal temperatures. Like, well, not normal.
Oh, it was -11 is the coldest.
Yeah. Next weekend, it gets back to normal for us, where it's like 7 degrees, 8 degrees Celsius.
Let's see. Wow.
Nobody can see that, bro.
I know, it's all white.
I can check Chicago. I've got the weather app on my computer. Let me check Chicago.
That'll give you some ideas.
My nephew lives south of Chicago.
It's going to warm up to 16 degrees.
Chicago, Illinois, United States, -23. Holy moly, it feels like -37, Crow.
I told you it was felt like -30.
Yeah, that's what it says. It felt like -37. I'm like, that's crazy.
Wait, -37 Celsius.
But it catches up. Celsius gets worse after -32. So Celsius is worse.
And it's still not the coldest I've ever been in. Not by a long shot.
Not to jump subjects, but in regards to Polymega, does anyone actually... No, I haven't got mine yet, and I pre-ordered it at the same time as my Ultra. So I don't have it yet. And I was day one pre-ordering the light gun. Which, kind of thinking about it, I only have a couple light gun games. I'm like, I don't know why I ordered it.
Okay, I'm curious. Alexa, what's -8 Fahrenheit in Celsius?
-8 degrees Fahrenheit is -22.22 degrees Celsius.
There you go.
By the way, you have a new notification.
Yeah, I don't
care.
Do
you want to hear it?
No.
Okay, let me ask Google something. Hey, Google, what is -32 in Fahrenheit?
Here is some information from the web that might possibly help. On the website qmath.com, they say, answer, 32 degrees Celsius is equal to 89.6 degrees Fahrenheit.
Wait, what?
Wow, I think that's some wrong information there. Wait a minute, did you say -32? Because it said 32. I think thought you said 32, and that's what 32
hey, Google,
Celsius.
What is -32 in Fahrenheit?
Here is some information from the web that might possibly help. On the website qmath.com, they say, answer, 32 degrees Celsius is equal to 89.6 degrees Fahrenheit.
You said minus, not negative.
Yeah. Hey, Google, what is -32 degrees Celsius in Fahrenheit?
-32 degrees Celsius is equal to -25.6 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah. Thank you, Google.
Oh, Google doesn't respond when you thank it. My wife thanks Alexa all the time.
Google's a punk, man.
Alexa, thank you.
You're so welcome. Your kindness really gives me a charge.
Hey, Google, thank you. Here, I'm honored to serve.
I'm honored to serve.
You darn dude, you are.
What's funny is I have both. I have both Google and Alexa, and I always talk to Alexa for some reason.
It's Siri that gets me. Like, all of a sudden, I'll just say something, and Siri will start answering me back like out of the blue, and I'm like, well, that's just a little creepy.
Well, I think that happens with just about any of these devices because, like, out of nowhere, like in the kitchen, it's like, "What was that? What did you say?" And it's like, "I'm not talking to you."
It's like it's weird. There was like people reporting that in the middle of the night, like their Amazon or whatever would be laughing.
Yeah, I've heard of that too. I've never actually encountered that though.
Well,
But it's funny though, is that we have one of those Alexa shows, and so it's got the screen on it. So like my wife knows sometimes the packages I'm getting because it just shows her that.
You can't hide. You can't hide it.
Not that I'm hiding anything. It's just like, did you get your package today? It said you were getting a package today.
It's kind of funny. We have like cameras, and
Yes.
through like looking outside and all that, and in our garage and stuff. And my wife, it's all Wi-Fi and on the web, so she can talk through it. So if I'm in the garage doing something, I'll hear this voice like talking to me. It's like kind of weird.
So is there another video to watch? Because we're running short on time. If there
Oh yeah,
is.
no, we're done.
Okay.
Yeah, we're just wrapping up there now. Actually, we should go because I've got to go eat my wonderful supper because it's 7:00 here. But yeah, anything going on, Crow, on your channel this week, bud? Do you want to chat about it? I'm sure there's something going on.
Hopefully before the end of the day I could finish the video. I might not. There's a possibility I might not because I am doing some unknown territory there with the final bit of it. But by either Monday or Tuesday, we'll have that Pico collection up. But then I gotta start playing that slot pinball machine. I actually need to give out the rest of those codes too. But so look on my community tab for that because I put all those codes out for the members. But I'm pretty sure they're not all taken. But so that'll be for the rest of everybody else. And then after I make a video for that, then I'll go on to Sydney Hunter.
Nice. You'll enjoy that. Sydney Hunter's
yeah.
different.
I'm looking forward to Sydney Hunter.
It's a fun collection. I think the Master System one's my favorite one in the collection, but I'll be interesting to know which one you like. And I've been playing them for years, well before the Evercade got them. So like,
I've known about them for a really long time. In fact, I probably own some of them, but
yeah.
I've never played any of them.
Yeah. Cool, man. Me, I've got a couple Steam Deck videos coming up in the next couple weeks, Portal, and some pinball videos, and Evercade. So I got tons of content coming up on the channel. Just check it out. Other than that, chat, as usual, thanks for hanging out with us, and we'll catch you next week on games and stuff. Bye, everyone.